Hello everyone and welcome to the experimental video for the analysis of an antacid. So I'm going to go through the experimental with you, how to go about this lab efficiently and correctly. So the first thing they want us to do, and by they I mean me, you want to prepare a 50 milliliter burette with the base that you standardized from last time. So that's what we got there. That is the standardization, the average that I took for these guys. So we'll be working with that number here. And I have my transfer beaker, of course. So I've already rinsed this through with water. And what I'm going to do now is just prepare it with my sodium hydroxide. So we'll do a rinse through of that. Boom. So as that's going on, I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing for the titration and preparing our titration flask. So like normal, we have our 3 flasks labeled 1, 2, 3. We'll be doing this in triplicate. I'll move these over here for you. Right, so I got my 3 flasks here, and these guys are going to be where I'm going to be analyzing my antacid. So today we're going to be looking at Tums. There we go. Now the first thing you're going to want to do working with the Tums is we're going to want to take a mass of these. So we're going to weigh out 3 Tums, 3 individual tablets using our weighing paper, weighing cups here, and the tablets themselves. And we're going to be doing that on the analytical balance. So let's go ahead and do that. Take this. My data sheet. Boom. Boom. Oh, there it is. Voila. Got my data sheet here. Got my cups, weighing cups here. All right, so we're not going to weigh them directly onto the balance because we don't want to leave residue. So I'll put my weighing cup in. I will zero that off and weigh my Tums tablet. Excellent. So because we're using the analytical balance, you want to make sure that we are working with 4 decimal places while recording. So the mass of this tablet is 1.1896 grams. Awesome. So I got that. So I'm just going to do 1 for us for this experimental, and then we'll get 2 on here. So I'm going to come back. So the next thing you're going to want to do is we're going to react our Tums tablet with our acid. So we have a standardized acid here. So this is the concentration for this one here, but your acid is going to be different. So what we're going to want to do is we want to essentially simulate the human stomach. So we're going to take a known amount of acid, that's going to be an excess, and we're going to pipette it using our 25 milliliter volumetric. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with these guys now. This will be the 3rd lab we're using this in. And what we're going to do is we're going to pipette a known amount of excess acid into my titration flask. So we'll be preparing titration flask 1. So remember that when we're doing this, I'm going to want to pre-rinse. I can do this a bit quicker. I'm going to pre-rinse this pipette with water. So I can do that here by putting some deionized water through the top of my pipette. And then I'll want to prime with my standardized hydrochloric acid. Now I took the time to standardize this, so if you're going to go ahead and just draw up this HCl right away, we're going to instantly dilute it, so we want to avoid that. So the first thing we're going to do is prime or pre-rinse. With my hydrochloric acid. So I got that going. I'll do it about halfway. And then I will rinse this. Like so. So now I'm going to draw up. Remember to keep the tip of the pipette submerged under the solution so you don't get those nasty air bubbles that will cause backwash into your bowl. So once I've reached the line, I'm going to transfer this into my flask. If your bulb runs out, you want to re-aspirate. Sometimes it'll take a bit longer if we don't have the bulb re-aspirated. So you're going to want to do this a total of 3 times. Each flask is going to need 25 milliliters of this in each flask. So there we go. And I'll put in the 25 mils there. So once I've administered all my acid here, and again, this is in excess. We're going to be putting our antacid into here to be neutralized. And then we'll be titrating the excess acid left over from the reaction. And this will be our first attempt at a back titration, which is really exciting. If there's solution that stays in the pipette, we're going to leave that there. It is meant for that. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our antacid tab and we're going to put it in there. And then we are going to see the reaction occurring where antacid is neutralizing the standardized hydrochloric acid that is in there. So to this, you're going to need about 40 mils of water as it's reacting. And we're going to set it on our hot plate to really mimic that our stomachs and the neutralization process that would occur when ingesting an antacid. Okay, so that's going. Now what I'm going to do is prime my burette. Well, I primed it already. Now I'm going to fill it with my standardized base. And then we'll be ready to perform our titration. I'm only giving you about 250 milliliters of the standardized base. You'll only need about, I'd say, 175 mils maybe total. You certainly won't need all that for the titration, but as far as if we're filling the burette up to 0 when we start or 50 when we start, we'll be giving you enough for that. Alright, so I got this to go. My antacid is going here. So now when you're doing this, you can use this time to weigh out the other 3 when you go ahead and do this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop the video, I'm going to get the others done, and then once we're ready, we'll run the titration. Amazing. So what I have going on right now is I have dissolved all 3 of my tablets in my 25 mils of standardized hydrochloric acid. So I'm just going to show you what else I was working on here. So I wrote down the brand of my antacid, excuse me, and then we're going to go through and write the cost of the antacid, and that's dollars per tablet, and then pennies of antacid per tablet. So that information can be found on the bottle of our antacids, and you'll see that on the back there, like so. So that's where I will get that information. So you can stay busy with that. And you'll also notice that there are going to be spots for the concentration of your base and the concentration of your acid. It is crucial that you record that information because it'll be how you'll be calculating your antacid's neutralization capacity. So I'm going to write that down for both of my acid and base. And what I'm doing right now, and I'll turn this so you can see, but I have my flasks here. So I have my burette primed and filled with my standardized sodium hydroxide. I have my 3 flasks with the antacid reacting and heating to a slow boil for about 1 to 2 minutes. So what we're doing there is we're removing any excess carbon dioxide gas. While you're waiting for this to happen, you can tune into this data sheet, which I have here, and you can start filling in the information, the brand of your antacid, concentration of our sodium hydroxide and of our hydrochloric acid. Those will both be crucial when it comes time to calculating the neutralization capacity of your antacid. So my solutions are about boiled, which is great, and I could start the first one. We're going to be using bromophenol blue. Which I have right here. And this is what I'm going to add to my titration. Now we're going to be titrating hot. That's important here because we want to make sure that our CO2 is removed. And then here what we're going to do is we're going to add 10 drops of our bromophenol blue. Okay, a little swirl, and then we are going to go ahead and tackle our titration. So as you can see, where I'm adding, you're going to see kind of like a sludgy green-blue color appearing. What we're going to want to do is titrate until we have that greenish blue tint. When we have blue, that means we have gone too far. Blue means we have reached past the inflection or titration point here. So this one's going to be rough, I'm sure. And you could definitely gauge it based on the weight of your tablet and your 3 trials. So if this tablet weighs weighs less than my other ones, you can expect that we'll use more of this base here because there'll be then more of our acid left over. So you can see my solution, that bluish color keeps lingering. And we'll reach a point where my solution will start to turn this green color. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm starting to hit a point where it's lingering much longer in my solution. See there? When you see that happening, you want to go by drop, so we can get a really nice endpoint for this reaction. Huh? So there we go. That would be the endpoint of my reaction. And reading my volume here, it looks like I have 19 and a half, 6, 7, I'd say 19.78 milliliters. So I can go ahead and write this in my data. My initial burette reading was 0. My final is 19. I'd say 19.78 milliliters. If I add a little bit more, I'll see that blue color get more and more intense, and that's how you know you really, really have over titrated. So that bluish green is really, really nice. That's going to be the color that we want to get. All right, so that's that. I'm going to go ahead and complete my others here. Excellent. So what I have here, what we've done is now we've calculated how much of this is left over, how much of our acid is left in excess from our, or unreacted from our neutralization reaction, okay? So I'm going to go ahead, go through, and do the others. Thank you so much for watching the experimental video for the analysis of antacids. Figured I'd show you guys this since I did a pretty good titration on my next one. So this was it over titrated. There's that super blue. This is right as the yellow and green are mixing, and I'm pretty sure one more drop will give me more of a blue color that I want. But always record whatever volume you have. If you have the color like this where you're seeing the green still, it's not yellow, it's not blue. That is a really good titration, if I don't say so myself. So 19, I'm going to record the volume and then add one more drop. So one more drop should really do this in and turn up that blue color. So there you go. That is the color you want to see right before you over titrate. Thanks so much. And well, for good measure, just finish off with a third one here. I'm starting to turn green, so I'm just going to record what I got. 19, 1, 5, 6. So again, I'm recording my volume and then adding another drop. As you can see, I'm right on that point, so I'm really glad I got to show you this as we do it. one more drop. And I've reached that blue. Again, this is the difference. It's going to be the blue. This is the overshot, over titrated blue. Getting to that point with the green though, or the yellow and green, that's where we're starting. You're seeing the mixing. The green is because we have blue mixing with that yellow, so it's that in between. So that's where we're going to call that titrated. All right, folks, thanks so much.